great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of invasion.
Welcome back to yet another edition of the Immigration Answers Show. This is episode number 693 of the show. How's everybody doing? How's my tie? Am I okay? How am I looking? All right. Looking sharp, looking large, looking in charge. What's everybody up to? Did you have a good weekend? I hear it's getting hot down in Argentina. It's cooling off up here in St. Louis, which is the way I like it. I had my hoodie on this weekend. My daughter Noor had softball. They got knocked out of the district playoffs, sort of surprisingly, by Parkway South on Saturday in an 8-7 loss. It was tough, but that meant she got to go play with her select team yesterday over in O'Fallon, Illinois. So got a little softball break for a while, and then we have some games towards the end of the month. I was looking at my calendar. I'm not traveling much either. I do have a case up in Baltimore and a deportation case on Wednesday in Kansas City. So we'll see how that goes. So no show on Wednesday. Casey, one of our associates, and I will be driving to Kansas City to try to keep our client from being deported. We had a meeting with the judge on Friday and it went pretty well. So I think our client might be in good shape, which would be great. This is a deportation case that we've had in the office since 2011. Think back to what you were doing in 2011. In 2011, my daughter Noor was 3 years old. That's hard to believe. Now she's 15. 2011 was a long time ago. Let's see. That would have been 3 years into the Obama presidency. So we had 5 more years of President Obama. Then we had 4 years of Trump. Now we've had 4 years of Biden since this case started. It's really hard to believe. And this guy's been in deportation even longer than that. All right. Tyrone is here. Hello, Tyrone. Pinky's here. Carlene. Creaky Bone says it's a rainy morning in Eugene, Oregon. Jay Cruz says hello, all the way from North Dakota. We have Saring in the shop. Traylene, Lindy, D Skull. Nurse Laura says, I hope everyone's ready for a brand new week. We're live on TikTok too, if I didn't mention. We got 75 people over there. Oh, TikTok's outpacing YouTube. I think in the end, YouTube will win. There's 73 people. Now there's 83 people on TikTok. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the show, if you want to ask me a question out loud, you can come over to the YouTube channel, Immigration Answer Show, and ask me on camera, or you can write your question here on TikTok. You don't need to write it more than once because my good friend Hina is taking notes and passing those questions along to me. And then I've got Huli here as well, watching the boards on the YouTube show. So Temi says hello. H&M is here. Amelia's sending good wishes all the way from Kenya. Whistleen, Junie, David, Michael, our old friend Michael's here. I think Michael gets around too. Rayan's here. Curvin's here. Rich is giving big ups. Vadim, Dobry Utro. Vadim, how you doing, buddy? Good morning. Bruno, Maggie. Rich gives big up to all the immigrants. We got Tunisia in the house. Oh, Mani's been talking about Tunisia. Ashman, she wants to go to Tunisia. She got an ad or something talking about how cheap it is in Tunisia. I would like to go to Tunisia. Do you guys know why? Because that's where they filmed Star Wars. That's where I mean, we went to Morocco, which was great, and I'm sure Tunisia's got a lot of good things to see too. But you know, I'm all about the Star Wars. So yeah, Rich was 10 years old back in 2011. Nurse Laura started nursing school in 2011. Hamza says hello. Israel's here. David was a junior in high school in 2011. That was a long time ago. Yep. All right. Let's go ahead and get started. We'll take our first question today from Island Girl. Hello, Island Girl. I think you're on mute.
Hi, I'm a bit hoarse, so just bear with me, please.
Sure.
So my question is, I was issued a green card when I was a minor, right? So I have been outside of the US since about 2005. I thought that my green card had, been done away with. So I went to the embassy this year and they gave me a visitor's visa. While doing the interview, I was asked if I had revoked the green card. I said no, but was still issued a visitor's visa. So my question is, if I'm planning to come into the US, is this gonna give me any trouble? Will I still be able to reactivate the green card, or is that done with and I just have to come in as a visitor?
I think you have to come in as a visitor. I'm sort of amazed that you got the visit visa. The one thing that I would make sure is you can do, I'm not sure when you're traveling, but there's a form called a G639. You should fill that out online and put in your old alien number and say, I want my complete immigration file. There might be a clue in there as to whether or not your green card has been revoked.
Okay, could you give me the name of that file again?
Sure. G like girl, 639. So just think 6 plus 3 is 9. 6 plus 3 is 9. G639.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Good luck.
Bye.
All right. Goodbye. Let's see what's going on. I'm not sure if Hina's here. Has anybody heard from Hina? She might not be. I might just have to do the questions. Ashman saying, Jim, you have had clients from Tunisia. If so, what was their experience with the embassy here? It's not as bad as Cairo, Ashman. No, not at all. It's not nearly as busy and it's not nearly as bad. 2024, don't give up. Says, how much does it cost for a mandamus lawsuit? The filing fee is $405 and the lawyer fee is $5,000. So if you pay up front, you can save $500. Otherwise, you can do a payment plan, $34.05 to get started and $500 a month for 4 months. All right. Bray Avocado, I have a green card, but I have a reckless driving charge. Can I get citizenship? Reckless driving can be very, very serious. It can also not be very serious. It depends. So if that's all that it is, and if your state treats it as a traffic matter as opposed to a crime, like in Virginia, I don't know what the deal is with Virginia, but you get like a speeding ticket and they want to throw you in jail. So I always am careful not to speed in Virginia or break the law in Virginia. But it depends on how your state treats it and depends on how long ago it was. I think if you were talking about a 5-year look back for good moral character and you had one reckless driving charge, I don't think that would be enough to deny your citizenship. Ahmed is here. Hello, Ahmed. Ahmed.
Hello?
Hello, Ahmed.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm asking about advanced parole. Is it
Okay.
is it possible that I get emergency advanced parole, or is it very hard to meet and get it?
Well, what do you have something pending? What's your immigration status?
So I have pending I-485,
Mhm.
and it became current just this month, and I filed I-485, but I forgot to also to file for advanced parole. And
So you can't get expedited advanced parole if you haven't even applied for advanced parole. So the first thing to do is to apply for advanced parole.
so I cannot apply advanced parole with the with the expedition, or do I have to wait?
How can you ask them to expedite something that isn't on file yet?
Well, because it's an emergency.
I understand that, which is why you should have applied for advanced parole before. But my question is, if you haven't yet applied, there's no request to be made to expedite it. So the first thing you have to do is to file and get your receipt notice back. Then once you get your receipt notice back, you can ask to expedite it. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
But I'll tell you, most expedite requests are denied.
So it's for medical emergency, like my mom needs to do a surgery.
Ahmed, my brother, I got to tell you, I have people all the time. If you watch this show for a month, I bet you 7 people will call and say, Jim, my dad is dying. They wouldn't give me expedite. Jim, my wife's about to have a baby and I want to expedite it so I can come faster. They don't care. They don't care about your mom. It's terrible. I don't think it's fair. I'm just telling you, it's probably not going to be granted.
Okay.
I hope your mom's okay. Good luck, Ahmed.
Thank you.
All right. Here's Hina. Hello, Hina. I'll go back to the calls while she's checking in. Jose Luis Lopez, hello.
Hey, how's it going, Jim?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for asking. Hey, I got a question for you. I'm a permanent resident and I applied to have my wife from Colombia be brought over here, but it seems like the process is taking a while. Just wanted to know what's the time frame on that?
So, when did you file for your wife?
Uh, Roughly about a year ago now.
A year ago. And has USCIS approved the I-130?
And they have not. It just says as always, pending or it's just it says like what it normally says, the generic, we're overlooking over the files. If anything is needed, we'll reach out to you. That's it.
When did you get your green card?
Well, I'm 47 now, so man, about 30 plus years ago, maybe.
And why haven't you applied for citizenship?
Uh, well, I got into some problems, and I've always been scared off by lawyers when I went to apply for citizenship because I
Mhm.
have a felony on my record, and they've always scared me. And then the last time I went, I did the interview. The officer approved my citizenship, and then I got a letter in the mail maybe a month later saying that I need to come in for another interview. I asked the lawyer if that was normal, and she said no. And I was like, well, what are my options? She's like, you can go to the interview, and if they start the deportation process, well, then we'll jump in. If not, then we can rescind that citizenship process and just start another time. I'm like, well, let's rescind it because I don't want to get deported.
What was the felony?
It's called they classified it as engaged in organized crime.
Yeah, that's a serious crime. Have you left the United States since then?
Yes, I've traveled frequently to Mexico and Colombia.
So you got to be
And
careful about that because any of those visits could. I mean, has anybody sat down and said, Jose, let me figure out once and for all if you are deportable or not? It sounds like you're living your life in a lot of fear, but have you spent the money to have someone actually analyze whether or not it's a deportable offense? The fact that you've made it back a few times is a good sign, but it doesn't mean for sure that the next time you come, they might treat you as an arriving alien and try to take away your green card. So, but certainly before you leave the United States, you should have a lawyer analyze whether or not you are deportable. And if you're not, then you should go ahead and apply for citizenship, because otherwise, if you look at this case, they're working on green card cases from January of 2022. So it's like a 2-year wait for the spouses of green card holders.
okay. Exactly what you said is exactly what the previous lawyers that I've talked to told me. At one point in time, I would lived in Miami, and they started a deportation process. I hired an immigration lawyer. She got a letter from immigration saying that my offense was not deportable, and I've always carried that letter with me because I've actually been asked to present that on 2 occasions coming back to the United States.
So Jose, how old are you, brother?
I'm 48.
So God willing, you're going to live to be 96 or 100, right?
Yes.
Do you really want to spend the next 50 years of your life worrying about this when you could put it all to bed?
I don't. No, definitely not.
So why don't you do this? If I were you, this is what I would do. I would say, Jim or some other lawyer, I want you to be my lawyer. I want to apply for citizenship. Before we do, I want you to get my deportation file. I want you to get my USCIS file. I want you to analyze whether or not I am deportable, whether this opinion letter that I have or this letter that I got from the government is binding, whether or not they're going to deport me if I travel again. It sounds to me like it might not be, given the fact that you've been able to come and go and given the fact that you're in deportation. So if that's true, your wife's going to get here a whole lot faster and you're going to sleep better for the next couple decades. I think it's worth the investment of doing it. I'm not trying to talk you into it, But to me, I don't know why you would put yourself through another 20 years of hell when you could clear it all up and become a citizen.
You know what? I don't know. You're right.
Yeah. I
Okay.
understand.
And
I
then
understand. It's stressful, and I've had a lot of conversations just like this, Louis or Jose. So you're not alone. This isn't unusual, but it seems to me like that sounds like a serious crime, but it also sounds like things sort of got sorted out, and that you might have this wrinkle or path that makes it not. Was it a state charge or a federal charge?
state.
Yeah. So that's worth analyzing, because you're gonna get your wife here probably 2 years faster if you get your citizenship.
Okay. Well, then I have your information, so I may
Sure.
just reach out to your office. I greatly appreciate your help. Thank you so much.
Good luck, Jose. See you, buddy.
All right, bud. Thank you.
Bye. Yeah, those are tough. It's tough when you may or may not be deportable and you're trapped. I mean, the thing is, Bill Clinton signed a law in '96 that said that if you commit a crime as a green card holder and then leave the United States, when you come back, they can treat you as a arriving alien, which means you have a lot less protections than you did before you left. So the fact that he's traveling makes me feel a little bit better. But I get it. I get the fear of pushing it and getting deported. I see the wisdom in withdrawing naturalization cases too, because I say it all the time on this show. The last chance they have to deport you is your citizenship case, right? All right, Hina, what do we got over on TikTok? Let's see. All right, Chill says my interview's coming up, and I did work without authorization. I drove a taxi and I said no to the form. Well, depending on what the basis is of your green card, if it's based on marriage to a U.S. citizen or as an asylum grantee, either way, you should tell the truth. But you need to be honest about that. So if you're married to a U.S. citizen, it should all be forgiven. Chris 7, can you explain to us what T status means? I'm not sure if you mean a T visa, which is for people who are human trafficked, or some other T status. I'm not sure what T status means. 2024, don't give up. When should we file a lawsuit? 3 or 6 months later after the interview. Depends on what kind of case that is. Don't give up. I don't know. If it's an embassy case, 3 or 6 months is plenty. If it's a citizenship case, it's certainly plenty. So it depends. Don't give up what kind of case you're talking about. Thank you, Hina. All right. Maximilian, hello.
Hi, how are you?
Great. How are you doing?
Thank you I'm good, thank you. I'm happy I'm able to speak to you. I'll get straight to the point if that's okay. So I live in Switzerland and my boyfriend lives in the US as a US citizen. I have 2 kids that are minor, they're 11 and 6, and we want to move in together in the US. So the question is, how do I start this process best, that is the fastest? Would I go with a visitor visa and then after 90 days get married? Or what would you suggest would be best?
That can get you in trouble. If you have the intent of coming and getting married, that's a violation of your. Are you coming on ESTA visa waiver, or are you coming? Do you have an actual visa?
Well, I do have ESTA. I was in September. I visited him, and then went back to Switzerland. And we are just looking for the best way to move together fast and to live together. I mean, we want to marry anyway, but yeah.
Yeah. So, like I said, if you went to America and decided while you were here to stay, that's different than being overseas and deciding. Because if you have immigrant intent and you come on ESTA, that's a violation of ESTA. So that can cause you problems. You might have a misrepresentation. But if somebody comes to the United States, hangs out and says, this is my second trip, I'm really tired of living apart, I think maybe we should just stay here. In other words, I wouldn't make any decisions until you get here. That's the thing. I wouldn't make any decisions. I wouldn't buy property. I wouldn't buy a wedding dress. I wouldn't do anything, because you have that immigrant intent, you get in big trouble.
Okay. So, but when I get there and I do decide there that I'm going to stay with my kids, do I file for minus 129F or my spouse, or what do I file for?
Fiance cases are only for overseas cases. An I-129F in the United States doesn't do you anything. So a U.S. citizen in that situation would have to file an I-130 for each person in the family. So the spouse, the stepchild number 1, and stepchild number 2, 3 I-130s and 45s.
3 I-1. Okay, so it's 3 I-140 and 3 I-140. Sorry, I have to write that down.
Don't write it down. Don't write anything down.
Okay.
Don't do anything until you get here.
Okay, good.
In overall answer to your question, people can get married in the United States and have gotten their green cards. That's all we should talk about right now.
Okay. So I would file for the green card then.
All of it. Yep.
Okay. How likely is it to win the green card lottery that is on right now that I can't participate in?
Yeah. So 19 million people applied for 50,000 spots.
Okay. Yeah. Well.
Good luck.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Yeah, for sure. John Argent has a very good question. Jim Hacking, I need an immigration lawyer, but I don't have any money. What can I do? Well, I would say that in almost every major city, wherever USCIS is, there are major cities. There are organizations that will do means testing, figure out how much money you can afford to pay, and they'll let you pay on a sliding scale. So here in St. Louis, there's probably 4 or 5 clinics like that, at least 3 or 4, that will help you, John, on a low bono or pro bono basis. All right. And then Zahid asked, sir, I would like to discuss my case in person. Is that possible, please? No, we don't do consults. We don't talk about cases with lawyers in the firm. The reason people call our office is to hire us. That's why I do the show, so that people can ask me general questions. But as far as, do we have a paid consultation or do we have a free consultation? No, we do not. We do not, because we spend too much time talking to people about their cases, and then they went off and did their own thing. So that's why we limit phone calls from our intake team and from our lawyers to actual cases where people are thinking about hiring us. User 63516 on TikTok says, is it possible to process the DV lottery? I am with pending asylum here in the U.S. That would depend, most likely, user, if you filed for asylum while you were still in status. If you applied for asylum while you were still in status and it was still pending due to no delay on your end, it's possible. Light Creator, American citizen, waited 15 months so far for I-130. No word. Is that normal? No, 15 months is sort of on the outside lengths for an overseas I-130. I would think about suing pretty soon, Light Creator. That might be one for a lawsuit. Darshak is here. Hi, Darshak. You're on mute.
Hey, Jim. How are you doing?
Great. How are you doing?
Oh, fantastic. I have a quick pretty question about the form filing for adjustment of the status. I am currently in the process to doing that. I was planning to doing that. So I have a question, like I go through few videos and a few instructions in the form, and it says where the information is not applicable, you should write NA non-applicable or leave it blank. So I have a main question about that. What should I do? Let's say it says,
when Trump first came into office, they started denying any case that didn't have NA. They don't do that anymore. So you could just either put a line or an X or NA, either one. Any of those are fine.
okay, so that's mandatory. Then I take it, because when I search in USCIS file and their instructions, they're saying put NA. Sometimes they're saying blank. So I have a confusion on that.
Yeah, I think people go both ways.
And I'm like currently I'm filing my file based on the family relatives.
Based on what, Darshak?
Based on the family relatives, spouse file for the green card.
Okay.
So yeah, so I have I filed my I-130 around 2022 November, but it's in the review and they no any answer. So I'm back and forth in US like a couple of times. I am living in residing in Canada. So I'm planning to go back to the US and I'm planning to do the status of adjustment. Should I follow that process or should I not do that? Or I should just wait for pending approval of I-130?
So is your spouse is a green card holder or a citizen?
She is a citizen now. But
And
when
yet-
I apply for I-130, she was a green card holder.
Have you notified USCIS that she's a citizen now?
We did like 3 months ago, but there is no update or nothing coming from the USCIS. So,
And so what's the receipt date on your I-130?
you're asking for priority date?
Yeah, priority date.
It's 6th November 2022.
So almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
I think you need to sue them because they don't understand. They're not understanding that your spouse, they still think she's a green card holder. They haven't fixed that in their system.
But I just notified for a 3 month ago when she got a
Right. So that should be moving along. That they should have approved it.
Oh,
Something's wrong.
okay. Okay, then I will contact you on the private session then.
Thank you, Darshak.
Buddy. We'll talk about that one. Thank
Have
you,
a
sir.
good day. Bye,
Have a
buddy.
good day.
See ya. Yep, for sure. You know what's sort of interesting to me? I don't know if it's just me. You guys tell me what you think, but sometimes, do you ever talk to people on the phone before you meet them face to face? And you sort of feel like you can figure out what they're going to look like before you meet them? Am I the only one that does that, or is that a real thing? I don't know. Is that something? I'm getting hearts over on TikTok, so I guess that's something that some people do. And the opposite is also true. Sometimes we'll call somebody up on the screen. Like I thought Darshak was going to have a real deep voice. Just the way he looked, I thought he was going to have a real deep voice. And he didn't have a real deep voice. That's a funny thing is like, and you know, I watch a lot of cop shows and sometimes they'll say, well, did the person on the phone sound white or black? I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? It's an interesting thing when you try to picture someone. Like, I think I can picture whether the person is skinny or heavy, but who the hell knows? I mean, I'm never really right? And so same thing with seeing people on camera when they're on the mute. I can't tell how they're going to sound. I'm usually wrong in how they sound when they come on. Isn't that funny? Life is a funny, funny thing. This is the Immigration and Philosophy Hour with your host, Jim Hacking. I'm philosophizing on this Monday morning. I think that's like the author in me or the wannabe author in me. This is episode 693 of the show. I'm an immigration lawyer practicing law throughout the United States at our offices in St. Louis, San Diego, and Washington, D.C. Because immigration is federal, we can handle stuff all over. Hey, if you want to do us a favor, if you like the content, we're never going to ask for money. And remember, don't ever pay people money on TikTok or anywhere else. A lot of scammers out there. You're only going to pay us money after we've signed a contract, right? So, my sister's calling. I wonder what that's about. Anyway, don't pay people money, but we'll be here for the next half hour, me trying to answer your questions, trying to help you all sort out what's going on in immigration land. Let's say hi to Anthony. Hello, Anthony.
Oh, hello. Can you hear me?
I can. How are you doing? Go right ahead.
Good. How are you?
Great. Thank you.
So I have a question. I think it's similar to another person before. So I'm a U.S. national born citizen, and I did submit I-130 for my wife's November last year, but it's still saying that it's still processing. They're still processing. So I would just wonder, is it normal? My wife's in Thailand right now, so I just wonder, is that a what's the average normal wait time right now, or should I be concerned or anything?
And Anthony, I think, did you say you're a citizen or a green card holder?
I'm a U.S. citizen.
So it's like 14 months, almost to the day. It's 14 months, almost to the day. We're seeing right at 14 months. Most I-130s with an overseas spouse are getting approved. So I think you probably got about 2 more months.
Oh, okay, all right. It just kind of like wait.
I wouldn't be worried right now. If you you get to 15 months, call me back. But 14 is right about what we're seeing right now.
Oh, okay. That's all the question I have. Thank you.
Bye, Anthony. Good luck. All right, all right. One of our favorite employees here, Anthony, is from Thailand. Patama, she's the best. She's the best. Donna's giving big ups to all the arties. Donna showed up. Thank you for joining us, Donna. It's always good to see you, or to see of you. All right. Ortis has been waiting. Hi, Ortis.
What's up, Jim?
I like that hat. Is it cold where you are? I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait for my hats. I got a new fuzzy hat. But Aaron Rodgers had a great New York Jets fuzzy hat that I got to get it because it's really cool.
Yeah, out there in Rochester, New York, it's pretty cool. Sometimes the weather is kind of crazy there, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, Rochester, yeah, for sure. So what's
Yeah,
up?
yeah. Jim, I'm cool, man. I'm cool. I got some few questions for you. Let me make it pretty quick. I did call you the last time, and I was kind of worried about my situation because I'm a 10-year green card holder,
Okay.
and I got it sometime in 2019, I think. And I was wondering when I can file for my citizenship.
Probably now. When in 2019 did you get it?
September.
Yeah, you're good.
All right. The second thing is I actually got it through marriage, but the things didn't work out well. Like I said the last time, it's actually like kind of in the green, yellow right now, not really in the green, and we're living separately. So that's why I decided to follow the 5-year rule instead of the 10-year rule.
Very good. Very good.
3-year rule. Yep, according to your advice.
Yep.
And I was kind of wondering because I've got some information from your shows, like what I'm supposed to do. I still need to answer some questions about the marriage, stuff like that. But right now, we're living separately. So I'm kind of wondering the type of maybe documents or maybe the type of questions I might face on immigration when I file for citizenship.
Well, so first question is, do you think your spouse has said anything bad about you to immigration?
No, nothing.
Do you think
We're
if
still
you
in good terms.
do you think if you filed citizenship tomorrow and they came and knocked on your door, would they say something bad about you?
No, I don't think so. We've been married for more than 7 years and we've got 2 kids.
Yeah.
So
So I'm not worried about that. So the one thing I'll say in answer to your question is, the one thing that sort of throws them for a loop when you have your naturalization interview, if you're separated, is they don't know what to put on the certificate. So sometimes they sort of slow that down. So I'm not trying to push you into divorce or anything, but if you think that divorce might be on the horizon anytime soon, I might wait a little bit to apply for citizenship just so it's all clean when you do file. But that being said, do whatever you want. If you want to file for citizenship now, I'm all for it.
all right, so I was kind of wondering, like, because we do have a split schedule for the kids. They live with me and they live with their mom, and it's some sort of like understanding between us and the families. And I'm kind of wondering, like, I don't have any physical proof of me, like, being like supportive of my kids, like to show for. So I was
Right.
kind of wondering, like, if that comes up, what are my options? Like, what
So
can I say?
that's a great question, especially because in my experience, they are especially harsh on Black men on this particular issue.
Yeah,
I've had many situations where white men are divorced or separated and they don't ask for jack squat. But for Black men, especially, I don't know what country you're from, but Black men from Africa especially, they really are hard on this. So that's a whole other thing that you're going to need to nail down before you apply for citizenship. Is you're going to have to, like, your whole case, Ortis, unless you have some other big issue, your whole case is going to be this question. So I've had situations where we're like scrambling to get the proof late in the day. So I would say you need to figure out a way to demonstrate either through an affidavit from your spouse or through bank records or whatever about how you're taking care of your kids, because that's going to be the whole issue.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking. Like,
Smart.
do you have an idea of like what I can do?
I think it depends on the circumstances. Like if I were your lawyer, what I would do is I would sit down with you and try to get all the details of all the ways you support your spouse, then see what independent ways we can prove that, support your children and spouse. You know, how do we prove all that without her? Summarize what you say is true, make sure she agrees, and then try to get her to sign something that says this is our arrangement. If not, then you're going to have to file for divorce, and you're going to have to do it all formally, so that you have proof when you apply for citizenship.
Yeah.
You're asking all the right questions and you're thinking about all the right things.
Yeah, so that's what has been bothering me all this while. So I don't know if I can contact your office so we can walk this.
We've handled cases. I just had a case like this about a year and a half ago in Baltimore.
Yeah. So
thanks, or just send me an email, okay?
Yeah, just I mean, like is it info@hacking immigration?
Yep.
All right. Yep, I got it on the screen.
See you, buddy.
Yeah, I'm just gonna mail you, and then we can see how we can go on from there.
Thanks, bud.
Yeah. One last question, Jim. Like,
Sure.
how much do you have an estimate of how much your office do tax for this type of cases?
Usually like
citizenship.
Usually like 3,500, 4,000, something like that.
All right. Do I need to pay everything at once, or can I do a split payment?
Yep.
Perfect, Jim. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
Bye, Ortis. Later.
All right.
Rochester, New York. It's getting cold up there. Pretty soon it's gonna be getting cold down here. Ortis had lots of good questions, and he's thinking about all the right things. The do you support your children question is a big one at naturalization, especially naturalization. It can be big at green cards, but especially naturalization, because that's good moral character. All right, let's go back to TikTok, see what we got. Angie says, my U.S. citizen daughter filed the I-130 years ago, and it still says actively processing, am outside the U.S. That's interesting. I wonder if they think she's not here in the United States, so why are they processing it? It sounds like that time frame sounds off. An I-130 for a mother or father, Angie, should usually take about a year and a half, 2 years max. So that time frame's off. You might want to look into it. Henry, how will I get the I-797 receipt of notice for the I-485 from the date of filing? How many will I get? The I-797 receipt of notice from the date of filing? I don't understand that question, Henry. I'm sorry. Maki says, will company sponsorship for green card conflict with an asylum case? It will not conflict with it. The fact that there's an asylum case is pending, that'll cause them confusion, and it'll probably slow down the green card process. And the question you always have to ask yourself, Maki, is, were you in status at the time you applied for asylum? Because even if you were, it's still hard to get USCIS to pay attention to that because different offices treat that differently. All right, so I have a question. So we're going to do Halloween here at the office a week from Wednesday, and I'm going to do the show in my Halloween costume a week from Wednesday. So we're going to have a Halloween party here on the show. Hina and Huli and Nurse Laura will have to come up with something fun, but I will be in costume. Maybe we could give prizes for costumes. Also, Nor and I really decorated the house well. So tonight I'll do a video of how we decorated the house so that you guys can see our Halloween decorations. We're big on Halloween at our house because we don't put up the Christmas lights. So this is sort of, we put up the Halloween lights and then we just leave them on till New Year's. So, but Nor and I have been doing Halloween every year, and each year we get one more thing. We got a great new addition this year to our Halloween decorations. Yeah, people calling in costume. I would definitely give prizes for anybody that comes on the show on the 30th in costume. We will definitely give prizes for that. But I think you guys are going to like my costume. I'm not telling Donna. If I tell, it's going to ruin the surprise, but you guys are going to go ape shit. I think I'm going to win the contest here in the office. I feel sort of bad though, because I sort of did my costume on my own. Amani usually likes us to have like matching costumes, like I was Darth Vader and she was Princess Leia. So I sort of left her out on the cold just because I was so excited about my costume. So we'll see. I don't want to hype it up too much because then you guys will all be disappointed. Rachel's here. Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Jim. How are you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for your team and all you do. So I have a question from my friend who faced persecution in her country for being in a particular social group. She tried a way to get out and she entered US on an F1 visa, but she never attended her college after arrival. So she applied for asylum shortly after, and that has been pending. And about a year ago, she married a US citizen and they are filing for adjustment status. So the current worry is that immigration officers might see her decision to not attend school as misrepresentation or fraud in obtaining the initial F1 student visa. Because from what she told me, she didn't even get on the flight, the connecting flight to her college after arrival in the US.
Where did she go?
She arrived in California. I forgot which airport, and she was supposed to go to University of Nevada, but then after passing inspection, she just changed her ticket and flew to New York.
So I've actually had this exact case before, this almost exact case, and the client ultimately decided that the only way he was ever going to get a green card was through asylum. And they fought him tooth and nail on the marriage case for the very reason that you asked. So first of all, let me just say, we're getting great questions today. This is a great question, Rachel. So I'm really glad you asked it. Ortis and you both really, really good questions, really complicated situation. So, I could see it going either way, right? So, generally, I don't know if you watched the show before, but, Rich said Jim doesn't like stuff like this. And what he means by that is USCIS doesn't like it when you say you're coming to the United States for a particular purpose, especially to go to school, and then you never go. Like if you go for 6 months and flunk out, that's a thing. But, I don't know how they would handle the question of, well, she was really coming here to apply for asylum, and then she just ended up getting married. I could really see it going both ways. Would I file the marriage-based case? Yeah. Would I be nervous? Yeah. Would I want to do some real work with the client to sort of explain her intentions and everything that happened? And to me, really, I'm going to drill down hard on what she did once she arrived. So, here's the deal. If she came, didn't get on that plane, like you said, to go to UNLV, and moved in with a relative or moved in with the person that she's now married to, that's fucked up. That's bad news. But if she came and was sort of on her own and just sort of struggling around almost like a homeless person, and was sort of directionless, I think it might go a little further. And, just because she had that intent doesn't mean she never gets a green card. She might just need to get a misrepresentation waiver. So I would want to talk to her. I'd want to get her full sense. I'd want to know what she did, between the time that she arrived and the time she applied for asylum. I'd want to know how much planning she did to apply for asylum before she came, who she talked to. There's just a lot of the timeline on this case, between when she decided to come to America and when she actually applied for asylum, and then pretty much what she did after that. Like if she got a job in the cousin's nail salon or restaurant, that's going to be a whole different thing. And if it's a strong asylum case, I think that's probably going to carry the day.
I see. Thank you so much for your details and answers. Sorry.
I'm sorry to interrupt. You just got me excited. She's probably going to need to prove up the asylum case in the marriage case.
I see. So it will also be merging as the same process, like her adjustment of status officers might be adjudicating on her asylum case.
No, that's not what I mean. What I mean is, and I should have been more clear, what I mean is that if USCIS, if the officer who has the green card case thinks that she just filed the asylum case to get some kind of status here until she could find a spouse, that's going to be very, very different than if they take a look at the asylum case and lightly inquire. Like they're not going to go full bore like a regular asylum case. They're not going to adjudicate the asylum case. They could say we're going to have the asylum officer decide it first. I doubt it. I've never seen that. But I think what I'm saying is if it's a strong asylum case, they'll probably cut her some slack on how she entered. If they think it's BS, then it's going to be knives out.
I see. So, if I suggest to her that she hire you and consult with their team, what time frame would you need to properly work on the case? Because her interview is coming up, is on actually Halloween.
Oh.
Yes, and she had a lawyer, but they only found out about this issue like 3 days ago.
They who? The
So
lawyer?
they never really talk about the circumstances involving her F1 visa. And
What
her
city-
lawyer basically just told her then they can't help her.
Yeah, I don't blame them. They're probably pissed at her. You mean she didn't tell them about the asylum case till now?
They never asked, and she didn't know that it is necessary to tell to.
If she never, if they never asked her, that's on them. That you got to ask your client. If you've watched the show, it's always, when did you enter? What immigration benefits did you apply for? That's like basic. Where's the interview?
It's in Lawrence, Massachusetts.
Well, why don't you have her email me? And if we can't do it, which we probably can't because it's such short notice, then maybe we can find her somebody up in Boston.
Okay, I'll talk to her about this. Thank you so much again.
Hi, Rachel. Thanks. Yep, for sure. Wow, that's something. That was a great call. A lot of good calls today. I'm very excited about all of our calls today. Hey, that's what I meant to say. Happy Heroes Day to all the Yardies. And Donna has even more advice. Never hide anything from your lawyer. That's right, Donna. Don't ever hide anything from your lawyer. All right. Gerald is here. Hello, Gerald.
Hey, John. Jim, afternoon. You know, I called you 2 weeks ago and I was telling you about a situation with myself, I-360, special immigrant. And I was telling you that my lawyer went in run-ins with the law, so she was charged by the Fed. So they sent a letter to me. She got it, and then I contacted USCIS. So they emailed me what was in the notice. And actually what they're saying is that non-delivery of RFE. So apparently they were requesting more information.
But you still don't have the RFE.
Yeah, so because the office was closed and no one can go into it because of her running with the law. And it probably wasn't responded to them within a particular timeline. No, they're saying that they intend to deny.
Have you received a notice of intent to deny?
I haven't received it yet, but they sent it in the email. So, and then they said that they sent it to her address again. So,
is her office closed?
Yes, because no one can go there because of the fraud that she has been charged with.
Is she in jail?
No, she was bailed. She is supposed to go to court on the 1st of November.
Well, I would bother the shit out of her. She still has a duty to you, even if she's under indictment.
But even if you call, you're not getting through. So I don't know if they told her not to make any contact with anyone. Call straight to voicemail.
Okay. Well, what I would do then is I would figure out who her lawyer is on her who's prosecuting her. Either talk to the prosecutor or talk to the. Well, I wouldn't talk to the prosecutor without your own lawyer, but I would talk to her lawyer about, hey, I need my notice of intent to deny.
Yeah. So what I wanted to ask is, does that mean the case is dead?
I think it's on life support, my brother. I hope it's not dead, but it's on life support.
And so the last thing I wanted to ask you, I have a parole that was pending. I got one first. It was 1 year. It expired. We refiled. It's in Texas. So the fact that I have a parole that is pending and I have a current work permit, it expires in February of next year. Do you think with everything that has happened, they will give me an extension with them a few more days? They won't?
I don't know.
To the fact that the notice was sent to her and the office is closed, if we were supposed to explain all that to USCIS, would they give us a second chance to provide the evidence?
Yeah, but you'll probably have to file a motion to reopen if it gets actually denied. Yeah.
That's what I wanted to find out. All right. Thank you very much.
Hi, Gerald. See you, buddy.
All right.
All right. Let's go back to TikTok. Let's see. I'm currently married and I'm a green card holder, but my wife is here on a visit. Can I file for her? You can file the I-130, but the 45 won't become current. I'm sorry, the priority date won't become current fast enough, most likely, for her to be able to stay. So you can try it. But you got to be, there's lots of moving parts there, Jawline. You got to be careful about immigrant intent. You got to be careful about maintaining your status. There's a good question, which is, when are you going to become a citizen? There's lots of moving parts. It's not the kind of question you want answered on TikTok. You probably want to have a lawyer help you, because there's lots of different things that could impact your ability to stay, or for her ability to stay, I should say. Abdi Fatah, U.S. citizen, sent I-130 to my dad for Kenya. Cases awaiting for interview 5 months now. Is that okay? Yes. Kenya is really, really slow. I think it's almost 1.5 years before they get the interview after being documentally qualified. Lisette Hinosa. I applied for citizenship in January, and I'm still waiting for an interview. Is it normal? Yeah, that could be, just depending on the field office, how busy they are. Braid by Mus. My daughter will turn 18 at time applying for a 3-year rule. Can I apply? My daughter will turn 18. Can I apply for citizenship? Yeah, you just apply when you can, and then it just turns on whether or not you get your citizenship before she turns 18 or after. We have some friends who are going to their naturalization interview tomorrow. They have one daughter who will be over 18 by a month and one that's 16. So the oldest one will have to do naturalization on her own, which is the same thing Adela had to do. Glenn points out, early voting started here in Texas today. I'm going to vote this week sometime. Early voting starts in Missouri tomorrow. I'm going to vote tomorrow. Wednesday. Not Wednesday. Thursday, because Wednesday I got that trial. So I'm going to vote on Thursday. That'll be fun. I can't wait to vote. All right, let's go to David. Hi, David.
Hey, how's it going, Jim?
Good, buddy. How you doing?
Good. Just more of a general question. I know you guys don't do the reopen deportation cases and getting them dismissed. I just have
we do. I love doing those. What's the basis of reopening?
So I was able to reopen, and now I have a court hearing in January. My question is, my husband and I, we were able to do our own to get it file to do a precautionary dismissal with the OPLA in San Antonio in Texas, and we were able to be assigned an officer to take care of our case. But my question is, how much can I bother this person to hear back from them? Because we were assigned to this officer, but she hasn't contacted us or anything yet. She hasn't emailed us. I emailed her directly, introducing myself with everything that I have on file that I initiated in the beginning. But it's been 40 to 50 days now, and I don't want to keep emailing her, bothering the person. But my question just is that okay to do it? I don't want to be that annoying person trying to push this, and then have the officer just push my case to the side,
Who is this person that you're talking about emailing?
It's
not their name. I just mean their role. What's their role?
It says she's the ACC for please direct the future emails regarding requests to the ACC directly. It's ACC, and then there's just the last name.
Okay. So let's back up. So
yeah.
Have you been ordered deported in the past?
Yes.
So you have a deportation order, and then you married a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Did you enter with inspection or without inspection?
Without.
Okay. So when was the order of deportation?
Back in 2004.
Like when you were a little kid?
Yeah.
And your spouse is a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
When did USCIS approve the I-130?
It's still pending. We only been married for 2 years now, and it's still pending. We applied for it. I think it was in January of the beginning of this year. So I guess we have still a couple of months away.
Why didn't you file the month after you got married?
We were still learning about everything. I thought because of the situation that I had, I wasn't even able to apply for the I-130, but learning afterwards that we could, so we did.
Okay, so But USCIS hasn't even approved the I-130.
Correct.
And it's been pending for about 11 months.
Correct.
Okay. Well, most immigration judges and most immigration, the OPLA attorney, the ACC is just the OPLA attorney's boss. That's all that is. So I assume what you're telling me is that you're dealing with the deportation without a lawyer.
So we do have a lawyer, and he didn't want to do a PD to see if they can get dismissed before we even have to go to court.
They did or didn't?
He didn't want to. He said he wanted to wait until I-130 was going to be approved, but it's not going to be approved until my court date.
You mean
You
mean it won't be approved before your court date?
Correct. Because my court date is January, and he says that the I-130 can be taken up to like 15 months to
Why do you have a court date? What's in front of the court right now if you already have a deportation order?
So I don't have a deportation. Okay, so basically we had it in 2004. We never showed up, and so immediately deportation. Yes.
Yeah. So order deported in absentia because you weren't there.
Correct.
Yep.
It was basically we reopened the case to face a judge. So they said that we don't have a deportation. We just have a court hearing to see if we are going to be deported or not again.
Okay, but again, why don't you have a deportation lawyer? This is insane to me that you don't have a you're fumbling around. This is like operating on your own leg without a medical license. I mean, do you want to stay here?
I do. Of course I do.
Does your husband want you to stay here?
Yes.
So why haven't you hired a lawyer to do this the right way? You guys are fumbling around in the dark and you're shooting from the hip. You have a path to stay here, but is it the money? Is that why you're not hiring an attorney?
That's one part of it. Because we just have spent so much on lawyers, and I understand that we have to do it. I understand it because it's.
Well, if you want to stay, I think I'm worried about this hearing in January. This is none of this has sort of been done in the right order. So you should have filed the I-130 as soon as you got married. Then once the I-130, so you were under the radar with a deportation order for 20 years, right?
Yes.
So yeah, David, he's not going to be able to adjust, but he could consular process if we can clean up the deportation. So what should have happened is married your husband, filed the I-130, wait until it's approved, then you start bothering the immigration court. Right? You don't bother the immigration court until then, right?
Okay.
Now, I'll tell you this. I say that in our office this year, Andrew, one of our attorneys, just had a judge terminate proceedings with a pending I-130. I tried with my buddy Tim in Denver or in LA to get one, and the judge said, no, you got to wait till the I-130 is approved. Now, everybody's flooding the system with it right now because of Trump coming, right? Everybody's worried about Trump coming. So they're getting tons of prosecutorial discretion office. The other day I was talking to ICE counsel. In their office in Kansas City, they have 7 attorneys handling 50,000 files. So each lawyer has 7,000 files. So the problem with getting court dates is nobody really does anything until the day of the court date. So never should have raised our hand notifying USCIS or Immigration Customs Enforcement and the deportation court that you're here until your I-130 was approved. But now that you have, I think what you need to do is try to beat the bushes and get the I-130 approved or get the court case postponed. Is that how you got it reopened? You told them, does the immigration court know that there's an I-130 that's pending for you?
Yes.
And is your hearing in January, is it an individual hearing or is it a master calendar hearing? Or do you know the difference?
I think I don't know honestly the difference.
Is this the first time you'll see the judge since it was reopened?
Yes.
Okay. So most likely it's going to be, the judge is going to be like, David, why are you here? What's going on? And you're going to say, Judge, I have an I mean, hopefully you'll do this with a lawyer. Hopefully the lawyer will get it postponed even before the court date. Judge, we have a pending I-130. We want to try to fix David's immigration status, and then we know that you can't do anything until the I-130 is actually approved. So what I would be doing is trying to speed up USCIS or slow down the immigration court, or both. Does that make sense?
Okay.
And whether
Yeah,
whether you can do that without a law degree, I don't know.
Right. Okay. Okay, that sort of makes sense. We'll follow up with our lawyer. We do have a lawyer, he just didn't want to get it dismissed until the I-130 was approved, but it makes sense.
Well, he was
It
right.
makes sense why. Yeah.
He was right. Yeah. All right. Good luck, David.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
You got it, buddy. All right, everyone. That'll do it for today's show. We'll be back tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel, noon tomorrow. Episode 694 of the Immigration Answer Show will go live. We will go live tomorrow at noon. Hope you all have a great night. Thank you, Hina. Thank you, everybody on TikTok. Thank you, everybody on YouTube. Thank you, Huli, for watching the boards. And I hope you all have a great Monday night. Bye, Donna. Big up to all the yardies. Bye, guys.
I'm great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of disease.
Hola, Huli.
Hi, boss. How are you?
How you doing?
I'm feeling, I don't know. I cannot use air condition. No. Yeah, air conditioner or fan because like it hurts my throat and my nose and now I'm using this all day long.
Oh, Vicks. The worst. Vicks. That's Amani's favorite. Yes.
That's mine too, but now I cannot sleep without it, but now I can't breathe without it right now. So
I hope you feel
sucks.
better.
Yeah, I hope to. But it's hot here right now. I miss winter already.
I'm so
It just
glad.
left.
Yep. I'll see ya.
See ya. Bye.